there, it's Kevin with GatheringMatches.com with match number 4 with the Aetherworks Angels. Yes, we'd like to play first. This is an awkward hand, but I believe a keepable hand. I'm not the happiest with this hand because we do have 2 of our targets in our opening hand that Aetherworks Marvel wants to hit, but Tormenting Voice will give us the Bruna in the graveyard. We have a Harness Lightning. And that did give us a Attune and a Mountain. So now we can cast the Aetherworks Marvel. And next turn's actually quite strong because we can harness whatever our opponent puts out. Another Glint-Nest Crane. This one looks, with Botanical Sanctums, it could be the Teamer version of Metalwork Colossus, or this could be the, it's a Panharmonicon brew. 4, sometimes 4, sometimes 5 colors. A lot of times it is just in the Bant color combination. So it's a card I don't particularly care about dealing with. We'll go Attune. And at this point, I think we just want another, I would say green source here. But Plains is also perfectly acceptable because we do need the double Plains. So I don't think we need another green for much besides a Vessel. So here we can just put out the Plains. Oh, I should have done the other way around. Should have been Mountain. I should have played there because that would have allowed Harness Lightning. But usually there's not a lot of things the Panharmonicon deck does on this particular turn. Yeah, actually, I'd want to target it. Yeah, this is definitely Panharmonicon. Well, Prophetic Prism is used in the Colossus as well, but it's most likely going to be Panharmonicon. So there's another Forest. It doesn't matter what I play here. We'll play a red source. And cast the Marvel. Don't have the energy quite yet for it, though. I can just use the Harness Lightning, however, to target the Glint-Nest Crane. I don't think there's any sort of Reflector, or not Reflector Mage, Spell Queller in this deck. So he's getting it for 1 again. It's going to be a lot of Cloud Chasers, I think is what they're called. Draw, gain 2, draw 2, 2, 3. And that's actually a nice pickup for Attune. Puts us up to 5. I think I'd rather Harness. But I can do both. At this point, let's get a Forest. And pass the turn. And Harness can play double duty. It can kill something. Yeah, I don't even care about the 1 damage. We'll wait until the second main phase if our opponent decides to cast anything. Gives us more information rather than try to kill off. So there's a Panharmonicon. So we'll Harness Lightning. And hopefully get something relevant. Well, it is a Gisela. I could go for Vessel and then crack it. Serving the Conduit also works. So, okay, yeah, it's still Gisela. We'll cast a Gisela. Now if he kills the Gisela, I mean, it's most likely to get Reflector Maged. We get to gain some life here. All Tormenting Voice. We'll do it off an Aether Hub. And at this point, discarding a Forest is perfectly acceptable. Go Attune. Go get another forest. And Woodweaver's Puzzleknot. Just play a forest is fine. And I'm going to activate the Aetherworks Marvel right now. Just in case we hit another Bruna. I guess I should have waited because we got Maria. But I used the land. So most likely they're going to be Reflector Maged back to me. But I can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can cast them at this point. Up to a 24. Opponent can't cast like a Thought-Knot Seer, for example, off the Panharmonicon. The combo, the Bruna combo, would be very good here because it shuts down quite a few cards out of this deck that converted mana cost 3 or less. Reflector Mage is one of the ways they're going to deal with my cards. It looks like Reflector Mage is coming down. So I have to make a decision if Reflector Mage is something I still don't see like an Eldrazi Displacer. Evolving Wilds is interesting. I can't cast anything here. I can't. That'll give me an energy, so actually I can activate. And let's do another forest. Because the Harness Lightning only gives us 3, actually. So we'll go the other route with the Puzzleknot. So I can't actually cast. Yeah, this is another awkward call. We can Harness Lightning and be done with the. I think we just go for Woodweaver's Puzzleknot. I think we have plenty of because this says I cannot cast, right? So Reflector Mage, this say from my hand. That creature's under can't cast spell, so I don't think I can actually, unless this forces it in. It doesn't matter. I think I'd rather just do a Woodweaver's Puzzleknot though. Gives me more activations. And I do believe we'll just Harness Lightning this down. Rather than have to deal with some sort of this getting displaced. Because we resolved the Maria Shepherd. Next turn the... that's still not even that great. Double Panharmonicon. So this could actually get out of control quite quickly. And that's going to find up to 3 artifacts. So value versus value decks. Prophetic Prism. A miss. And a familiar, which actually is very, very weak. So acceptable. So what I want to actually do is activate the Aetherworks Marvel and hopefully find a Bruna. So we need to crack the Puzzleknot. And that finds another Gisela, which I don't think is going to do a lot. It's still better than the alternatives, though. Kind of just want to cast another Gisela to get one in the graveyard. But I actually don't have the mana to do that unless I play the plains, and that's not the right route to go. So most likely it's going to get Reflector Maged back. Our opponent does have a ton of cards to work with. Prophetic Prism fills back up. And Averse Gearhulk, which is that going to be lethal? 4 counters. Yeah, that's huge. 4 counters, then four counters on himself. These don't have trample though. I think I'll just take 11. Because we do get the combo off next turn. He's going to actually keep back a card. Because I can just hard cast the Bruna. I can, well, marry a Shepherd. The Bruna is probably the right line of play. So 3, 4, 5. That's 1 too many. 3, 4. No, it's not. So we'll go marry a Shepherd. And I do have to utilize a white. Which brings back the Bruna. And I guess I should have attacked with the Merry Angel first. So it brings it to battlefield. So now I can't attack with the Gisela. So, but that gives me a 9-7 or 9-10. So unless it's another Gearhulk, which I don't know how many the deck runs, I think we're in decent shape. Can't really cast a lot of other cards. The Stomper gains a ton of life. Okay, that scared me for a while because that was the converted mana cost of the Gearhulk. And so many cards are just not relevant now. My opponent cannot also block the Gisela. Otherwise, it will kill the Glintnest. So we are in definitely great shape here. Find another Bruna. I don't know if I want to quite use the Marry a Shepherd. I think that we just go ahead and attack in with... And we'll cast the Linvala first, I believe. Or would I rather just have... I think it's pretty high odds that I get a decent activation off of the Aetherworks Marvel. So rather than casting this Linvala, which would give me a 3-4, I think I was attacking with Gisela. And then just reanimate a Woodweaver's Puzzleknot. So the Puzzleknot will then come back to my hand. And we can cast it. Alrighty, so we'll plan on just cracking the Woodweaver's Puzzleknot in response to our opponent. another Arbok Stomper, which is going to gain an insane amount of life. But it's not very relevant at this point. Opponent still can't cast anything, still can't attack in. We'll go ahead and end step the Woodweaver's Puzzleknot. There's no point to doing it. And then go for an Aetherworks Marvel. And at least it gets Servant of the Conduit. We're out of planes to grab, otherwise I would go for that. At least gives us 2 more energy. And it's just going to be Gisela that's going to have to grind out the game, so we need to speed up here. We'll go with the Vessel and crack the Vessel. That gives us an energy, which should find us. We're out of like relevant things is the problem. Linvala is fine. And cast the Linvala. Which gains us, doesn't gain us life, it gives us a 3/3. This way we can attack in with the Ceaseless still. And pass a turn. It's going to be another Verter's Gearhulk that does get our opponent out of it, but we're still in decent shape. Opponent can't dig for it. Can't cast the Prophetic Prisms. Can't do a lot of things. We're pretty much locked out with the Priscilla. So I'm going to leave all like the game trails in our hand. There are ways to get back cards out of our graveyard if we are in desperation mode. Even though we do have the Bruna and. Alright, so the Glitness is going to make the trade. I'm glad that happens. That's 1 flyer out of the way. And now I can start attacking in with Linvalas next turn. Because I can trade a Linvala just to recast another Linvala for 3 damage. Or just even get it back from the graveyard. Alrighty, so there's another Servant. We'll cast it just because it does give us an Aetherworks Marvel activation. And try to speed these up. So the Glitness will go on Linvala, and 12 damage, which is significant because that is a little bit quicker of a clock. So actually, I can cast a Bruna here, I believe. Yeah. Because they're not the exact same creature. I don't think they are, anyway. We'll find out. Nope, they are not. Flip cards do not read. Yeah, that makes sense, because Reflector Maged card you can recast. It's been flipped, you can recast the front side. Gonna go with the Gearhulk. This is just a desperation attack. We'll block, and we can take the damage all day long. We'll even block with Linvala, sure. And both the Stompers are gone. If our opponent did have any hope, the hope is now pretty much... Unless, is there... Cataclysmic Gearhulk, okay. So we'll just keep the Priscilla. This actually hurts our opponent much worse than it hurts me. So we'll choose the Aetherworks Marvel and Priscilla. We get a ton of energy. This is taking away my precious time. Had to leave the game for a second there. Choose. And choose. Go ahead and attack in. Up to an 85. And we will go ahead and cast another Bruna to get back the Maria. He's gonna go another cast. This is just, he's trying to clock me as how it's acceptable. It's part of the game. But this is just going to force us to go through the motions one more time. So choose. Choose. And at this point, we'll get back another Bruna. And then get back the Maria. And that's lethal. Alright, so 10 minutes to play, potentially 2 games. So I'm going to be playing as quickly as possible. And yeah, that would end up being a pretty spectacular game. This is value deck versus value deck, but I think our value outshines our opponent. So I'm going to put in the World Breakers, the Ulamogs. Harness Lightning is kind of an iffy one because I don't know if Eldrazi's Displacer is in there. I actually do like Chandra in this one too. I think Chandra is something that... Tireless Tracker is a card that could easily take over the game. So I'm not going to go for Harness Lightnings. Natural State doesn't really hit much. We'll just keep one Chandra in. Tireless Trackers will give us the card advantage that we need for Aetherworks Marvel. Our opponent could be bringing in a lot of cards to try to hate out the Aetherworks Marvel, but I don't really think our opponent's going to be successful with that. We'll just value him throughout the other cards. Submit this. We'll YOLO and keep a 6-lander. So to start off with, throwing in the Canopy Vista, and now we have a Gisela, which is pretty phenomenal. No blue source so far by our opponent, and it's just a Servant. So another Tireless Tracker. This ends up being a pretty decent. Not going to reveal anything, no point. And there's a Prophetic Prism. Our opponent could be Mana Shot here, unless he drew the land. There's a Lumbering Falls. Attacks in for 2. We're down to an 18. Tireless Tracker. Next turn, Tormenting Voice would have been nice last turn, but we'll go ahead and play a Mountain here. And Tireless Tracker. And then pass turn. Could get Reflector Maged. If so, we'll just our Gisela next turn. So it does have the Reflector Mage. Attacking for 2 again. But these do lose value if he has to play them early. And we do have a play this turn regardless. Ulamog, keeping the land, was decent for getting up to Ulamog. Now our opponent has to figure out a way through another Reflector Mage to bring back the Gisela. And that's fair. So getting kind of aggroed by a Servant and a Reflector Mage. But the Tireless Tracker will be above these next turn. Opponent did miss the land drop once again. So now we have an Attune. We'll play the Tireless Tracker first. And then get a clue. And we're actually just going to use this to investigate. Rather than... I can do this right now. Just to save time. And see if he's got the third Reflector Mage. Just a Prophetic Prism. Again, these are weak cards without a Panharmonicon. I don't believe my opponent can attack in here. And there's the Glintiness Crane, which can possibly find the Panharmonicon. Verder's Gearhulk. That's actually going to be rough for us to deal with, so I do need to find a way to deal with that. But we did survive getting hit with damage this turn. Chandra just wipes the board. So I think we will go Chandra for a -3. That does allow our opponent to get out a big Verder's Gearhulk, but at that point we might be able to... Yeah, I think that wiping the board is smart here, rather than trying to keep back a Tireless Tracker. And maybe I should have gone for a clue. Yeah. That I can do 1/1. No, it's just... Yeah, I should have gone for a clue. Sorry, I'm trying to play this as quick as possible. And it doesn't matter because I still want to play Chandra. And -3. Our opponent still needs an untapped land, which we could luck out and not have happen. Otherwise, the Verder's Gearhulk does not come out on time. You can get greedy with a Panharmonicon to go for a win with the Gearhulk. So, we have a couple of options to do with the Chandra. We could create just some 3/1s. Or I could just discard my entire hand to try to get something. I don't think that's the right route. Other than that could get us the Bruna. So the Bruna, I think that actually is the route. So Game Trail is inferior to Aether Hub. We do want, because this gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I will discard my hand to draw that many cards. And we did hit it. So I think that is definitely the right route to go. This locks him out of a lot of potential problematic cards and gives us a 9/10 with first strike, which possibly could be enough. So our opponent still needs to draw an untapped land this turn for the Gearhulk. Did not. So we're in great shape. The Brazil is going to lock out our opponent from doing much. Another Aether Hub. At this point, I think that some Marvel is the right route to go. And we'll go ahead and swing in. So the Gearhulk now is actually lethal next turn. Or not the Gearhulk, the Brazella. So got lucky that our opponent kind of got stuck for many turns. I mean, the Reflector Mages were great versus our Tireless Trackers, did set us back. But it's not going to do it. So, I can breathe. All right. I'm having fun with this match. We'll play one more. We're so far 3-1. Haven't really had any serious decks. Had these sort of, double Verder's Gearhulk, Fumigate. It shows the hand here. All higher drops. So, all right. Anyway, this has been Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching.